Former Dallas cop Amber Geiger takes the stand in her defense on day 5 of the murder trial. A minor in the south of the island is said to be the victim of an alleged sexual assault, and Hot 7 TV tours the USNS Comfort docked at sea. We have the details of these stories and more coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Friday, the 27th of September 2019. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We're on Flow, channel 117, also being simulcast on Kiss FM. You can also watch on our website, www.caribbeanhottv.com, or on our free Caribbean Hot FM mobile app. I'm lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. Former Dallas police officer Amber Geiger had her day in court on the 5th day of the murder trial. Geiger is having her say in a bid to prove that her September 6th shooting of Botham Jean, which ended his young life, was an unfortunate accident. Rochelle Gonzalez begins our reporting.
Day 5 of the Botham Jean murder trial, and the woman at the center of it all took to the stand to give her side of the story. Amber Geiger was barely audible as she gave her testimony to the fateful night of September 6, 2018, when she shot and killed 26-year-old St. Lucian Botham Jean in his own apartment. The former Dallas police officer, who was off duty at the time of the incident, insisted that she thought she was on the 3rd floor where she lived, rather than the 4th where Jean lived. She described the moment when she approached the apartment.
What happened this time?
What happened was I put the key into the lock. I see that it's cracked open. And at the same time, I'm hearing this moving around. But me putting the key fob into the lock is pushing the door open. And everything's happening all at once.
Okay, let me ask you that. We're breaking this down, but how fast can you tell the jury this is happening?
Less than 2 seconds. The motions of me doing all this is less than 2 seconds.
Tell the jury what you felt inside and what you felt in your brain when you saw those 3 things happen.
I was scared to death.
How quickly did that happen?
Less than 2 seconds. It was quick.
Okay. Why were you scared?
I thought I came home and they're inside my apartment. And that was alerted me on this. Your heart rate just skyrocketed. This feeling you never want to feel again.
Geiger then went on to describe the fateful encounter with Jean, stating that she wanted to find the perceived threat.
Whenever I fully opened the door, I saw this silhouette figure standing in the back middle of the apartment by the window.
You're saying figure?
Yes.
Okay. As you were opening, and how did the door get fully open?
I used my left arm to fully open it. And at that time, that's whenever I'm drawing my service weapon out.
All at the same time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you saw that figure, or silhouette of a figure at the back, did you do anything?
Yes. That's whenever I pulled my gun out and I yelled at him. It's like, let me see your hands, let me see your hands.
And the figure was moving around as you described?
Yes, I have my gun pointed and I'm saying, let me see your hands, let me see your hands.
What were you focused on?
Him.
Just him?
Yes.
And then he began coming towards you?
Yes.
And as he became coming toward you, that's when you heard him speak?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to do that now, all right?
Yes, sir.
Hey! Hey! Hey!
And that's at that point whenever I shot.
Somewhere in this area?
Yes, sir.
When you shot, what happened?
He fell down.
The former officer broke down on numerous occasions, including the moment when she was shown her firearm and was asked why she fired.
Why did you fire?
I was scared. I was scared this person's apartment was going to hurt me. And I'm so sorry.
I can't understand.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Geiger, could you please repeat your answer?
I was scared. Whoever was inside my apartment was going to kill me. And I'm sorry. I have to live with that every single day that I hurt.
Judge, I object to non-responsive. Sustained.
At one point, Geiger seemingly spoke directly to the family of Jean, describing how badly she felt and apologizing profusely for her actions.
I feel like a terrible person. I feel like a piece of crap. I hate it I hate that I have to live with this every single day of my life. And I ask God for forgiveness, and I hate myself every single day. I feel like I don't deserve the chance to be with my family and friends. I wish he was the one with the gun that killed me. I never wanted to take an innocent person's life. I am so sorry. This is not about hate. It's about being scared that night.
Fully trained in CPR, Geiger admitted to attempting to administer it to Jean. However, she was also forced to reveal that on at least 3 occasions, she stopped the possibly life-saving procedure to send 2 text messages and to approach officers who came to the scene. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
Thank you very much, Rochelle. Hot 7 News, alongside a group of individuals from the medical and dental fraternity in St. Lucia, got an insider's view of floating military hospital, the U.S. Navy ship USNS Comfort, with a height of 100 feet equivalent to a 10-story building and a length of 894 feet, the length of 3 American football fields. The USNS is recorded as the 6th largest hospital in the world.
The Hot 7 News team got to catch a glimpse of life aboard the 6th largest hospital in the world, the U.S. Navy ship USNS Comfort. The USNS came to St. Lucia on a humanitarian mission to provide free medical services to locals on Monday the 23rd of September 2019. On the morning of Friday the 27th of September, alongside a group of individuals from the local medical and dental fraternity, Captain Charles Cather, who is the Director of Nursing Services on board the ship, hosted a tour of the vessel.
The USNS Comfort is one of 2 hospital ships that the United States Navy has. The sister ship, the first ship in this series of ships is called the Mercy, which is based out of San Diego. This ship is based out of Norfolk, Virginia. So we have one on the East Coast and one on the West Coast. The Mercy ship serves the same purposes as this ship, which is to provide initially combat care in case we were at war. And we can also utilize it like we are today for humanitarian missions and also for disaster relief. The Mercy does similar missions to our mission, but way out in the Pacific, out in areas like Papua New Guinea, East Timor, Vietnam, areas like that.
Along the tour, the group learned about the history of the ship, which was launched as an oil tanker in 1976 under the original name, the Rose City. The group was also shown the ship's different departments and facilities, including the intensive care unit and an operating room.
We have 12 operating rooms on board. All of them are 6 on each side along the center line. One of the operating rooms is specialized to do interventional radiology, which if someone is bleeding profusely, we can go inside an artery or a vein and stop the bleeding without having to cut them open. We do that under X-ray. I mentioned earlier we certainly do cataract surgeries, cleft lips and palates, big hernias that people have, laparoscopic cholecystectomy. That's that gallbladder pain you have up here after you have a fried whatever. We do a significant amount of plastic surgery. We have urology services available on board in a certain capacity. We partnered with some groups back in the state to provide postpartum bladder suspension, which means to help out my mom later in life when her body starts to change because she birthed 4 children.
The captain was asked a series of questions on a number of topics by the group, to which he responded clearly and thoroughly. On this occasion, Captain Cather was asked about the lengths of the ship's stays on each mission.
Well, the dates for your stay in different places, about 5-6 days, is that like standard for you?
It changes, right? It's the desire of your country. How long do you want us here? What's your need, and how quickly can we accomplish that? So our mission, our deployment we're on is 12 mission sites, and they're all programmed at about 10 days. That 10-day cycle consists of a couple days of setup, so we're setting up stuff ashore. Ship's ready to roll right now, right? So we're setting up ashore, 6 days of care ashore, and then 1 or 2 days to help get everything broke down, boxed up, flown back out to the ship, and then we take off. And very similar to Carnival Cruise Lines that left yesterday, right? They pulled out at night, and when everybody woke up, they were at the next island. When we pull out, when we wake up in the morning, we'll be at the next mission site to do another 10 days.
The ship holds a crew of over 1,300 personnel, including civilian mariners, naval support staff, and naval medical staff. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
An alleged rape of a 14-year-old girl in the south of the island on the morning of Friday, the 27th of September, has been reported to Hot 7 TV by family members of the victim. The distraught mother says she left the home to drop off her younger sibling to daycare, and upon her return, she found the house had been forcibly entered and that her 14-year-old reported being raped. Families say they will pursue this to the fullest extent of the law. Due to the sensitive nature of the case, a confirmation of the report could not be made by police. We will continue to follow this story. When news that Virgin Atlantic pulled out its operations from St. Lucia, Minister for Tourism Dominic Fede provided a synopsis of the situation as well as highlighting viable options of air travel to serve the UK market. One of the carriers was Thomas Cook. He stated discussions were ongoing with Cook to ensure air transportation to the island for UK travellers. However, the recent abrupt closure of the oldest airline has opposition leader Philip J. Pierre questioning whether the alleged discussions said to have taken place with the carrier actually happened. More in this report.
The sudden shutdown of British tour company Thomas Cook left more than 150,000 travellers stranded on their overseas vacation. The 178-year-old company had recently been named by Minister for Tourism Dominic Fede as one of the carriers being looked at to fill up the hole left behind by the Virgin Atlantic pullout. During the Parliament sitting held on September 17th, Fede affirms his confidence in 3 airlines based off discussions he says were carried out with the carriers in a bid to increase the capacity of seats coming to St. Lucia from the UK market.
Meetings were held with Thomas Cook, British Airways, and Thomson, Mr. Speaker, as airlines that have indicated significant interest in advancing capacity. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, in the coming weeks, we will be making very specific announcements as it relates to how the individual carriers will be expanding their capacity into St. Lucia. Mr. Speaker, we estimate that based on the meetings we had, we will see, Mr. Speaker, in the region of 500 to 750 extra seats coming into St. Lucia on a weekly basis from the UK market. Mr. Speaker, suffice it to say that I feel extremely vindicated and justified in the decision we made, Mr. Speaker, as it relates to the subsidies demanded by Virgin Atlantic.
The sudden collapse of Thomas Cook has left leader of the opposition Philip J. Pierre bewildered. Pierre questions whether alleged discussions between Minister for Tourism Dominic Fede and the management of Thomas Cook actually occurred.
The question we have to ask is, did the minister really speak to Thomas Cook? Is the minister serious when he says, based on his discussions with Thomas Cook, that St. Lucia would have 500 to 750 new seats from the UK market? Was the minister speaking the truth? And the Prime Minister, by his thunderous applause to these statements by the minister, was the Prime Minister agreeing that even in the event that Thomas Cook was on the verge of collapse, because the collapse of Thomas Cook did not happen yesterday, that discussions were happening all the time. At that time, the Prime Minister applauding his minister for stating that Thomas Cook would bring more seats into St. Lucia.
Furthermore, leader of the opposition points out the current state of affairs as it relates to another British carrier, British Airways.
The government will have, they are compelled either to depend on a situation where one major airline will be coming to St. Lucia from the UK. In that case, it's got to be British Airways, and we know that they are on strike, and I've just heard recently that the strike of British Airways has caused the airline £121 million That means that these expenses will have to come from somewhere. And the government was satisfied that they had done all what they could have done with Virgin. Instead of trying to negotiate with Virgin, as the leader of the opposition, I wrote Virgin asking them whether they could reconsider their position. Because as a former Minister of Tourism, I know the importance of the UK market, and I know why it is not the right thing to do to have a situation where you depend on one airline.
Pierre says the current administration needs to provide answers in regards to the critical industry of air transportation out of the UK to St. Lucia. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
Thank you very much, Solange. You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, the Red Cross issues warning to the general public. The opposition SLP applauds the recent noes have it in the Senate and the positive video everyone is talking about. That and more when we return.